So this has been circulating, and this concerns Sandra Bland. You might have seen this trending on Twitter already. A quick refresher, because Sandra Bland, I mean, that happened a couple years ago. And, there have been many, many instances of police brutality, especially against black people and minorities since then. So it's hard to keep track of it all. It really is. But Sandra Bland in 2015 was pulled over for not using her turning signal. She was trying to get out of the way of a police car, and she switched lanes without using her turning signal, so she got pulled over. The event escalated, and now we know exactly what happened during that escalation. But anyway, just for the recap, the event escalated. She was taken into custody, and then shortly after, she was found dead in her cell via hanging. The official verdict, they said it was a suicide. I don't know if we'll ever really know. But there is something that we do know now. Now, the family did settle. They received a settlement for an unlawful death. But we do know a little bit more now because they released some video of what happened between her and the cop. And this is video that she took that the public had never seen until now, several years later, which leads to the question of, well, why did they suppress it? Well, we know why they suppressed it. They suppressed it because there is more evidence of how unjust this whole thing was. And unjust is putting it, I mean, there aren't words. How repulsive and blatantly just brutal this whole thing was. And now more video has come to surface. All right, so let's get to the article here. New cell phone video shows what Sandra Bland saw during the arrest by the Texas trooper. The family of Sandra Bland, who died in a Waller County jail cell, is calling for a reopening of the criminal investigation. New cell phone footage from the now infamous traffic stop of Sandra Bland shows her perspective when a Texas state trooper points a taser and yells, "I will light you up." The new video, released as part of a WFAA exclusive in partnership with the investigative network, fuels the Bland family's suspicions that the Texas officials withheld evidence in her controversial arrest and later her death. Until now, the trooper's dashcam footage was believed to be the only full recording of the July 2015 traffic stop, which ended in Bland's arrest. The trooper claimed he feared for his safety. Well, let's see. Here, I know the sound's not going to be the best, but we'll do what we can for this.
Get out of the car now.
So he's yelling at her to get out of the car. He opened her door. He opened her door.
You just opened my car door, so you threatening to drag me out of my own car.
Get out of the car.
And then you
I
gonna
will
stop
light
me?
you up. Get out.
Wow.
Now.
Wow.
Get out of the car.
For a failure to signal. You doing all of this for a
Get
failure to
over
signal.
there.
Right, yeah. Yeah, let's take this to court. Let's do
Go
it.
ahead.
For a failure to signal. Yep, for a failure to signal.
Get off the
On
phone.
my school.
Get off the phone.
I'm not on the phone. I have a right to record. This is my property. This is
Put your
my
phone
property.
down.
Sir?
Put your phone down right now.
He was fearful for his life. He felt in danger there. A college student failed to signal. He pulled her over, opened her door. He opened her door, pointed a taser in her face and said, "I will light you up." And she just kept asking. I mean, you see the video. Why am I being detained? Why am I being detained? This is over a failure to signal. Why did you open my car door? You don't have a right to do this. She had a phone in her hand. She was filming it, which is her right. He was fearful for his life. He was fearful. He feared for his safety. I think that's the official verbiage that the police use. He feared for his safety. The only person in that video that should have been fearing for their safety was Sandra Bland. Because she didn't use the turning signal. She got pulled over. And then the cop opens her door, has a taser in her face, and is yelling at her. So that's what happened. Then this led to her arrest. People were asking, if they were looking for answers, they were saying, why did it escalate to this point? 3 days later, she's dead in a cell. And you know what's really bothersome about the fact that, this footage was released today. As of the recording of this, it was released today. A lot of people are responding to it on social media, on different news shows. And the one response that I have not seen, that we're not going to see because it doesn't make sense for anyone to have this type of response, is surprise. Nobody is surprised. I'm not, and I'm sure you're not either. This was a massive cover-up out the gate. Of course, this police officer acted in an out-of-bounds manner. In a totally inappropriate manner. And of course they suppress that. We are completely desensitized to it at this point. Because it happens constantly. There have been no repercussions at all. And the systemic issue of law enforcement has gone unaddressed. Keep in mind, when it comes to law enforcement, it's a systemic problem. It is a systemic issue. The way we conduct law enforcement is just beyond broken. It is a completely failed system. It needs to be completely revisited and restructured. So that's why when you're talking about police brutality and someone says, not all cops are bad, you tell them to go sit in a corner and let the adults have a conversation because they don't understand what a systemic problem is. They don't understand what that means. A systemic problem means it's a structural problem. It needs a structural solution. That's like saying, hey, there's an E. coli outbreak. Well, this shred of lettuce is fine. Not the fucking point. It's a systemic issue. It's an outbreak. That's the problem of law enforcement. It is a rot. It's over. I mean, it's over. It's never... We need to completely restructure the system or it's never going to change. You can mention your friend who's a good cop all you want. You can mention your family member who's a good cop all you want. And then they very well may be. That's not the point. You're completely missing the point. So this surfaced today. I hope the investigation is reopened. I wouldn't be surprised if it wasn't. And as far as this news goes, nobody is surprised by this. Absolutely nobody. And let that sink in. That this kind of corruption and brutality, it's a Tuesday now. We just accept that. Because we have this systemic disease that has still gone on unaddressed. Sandra Bland, still unaddressed. Tamir Rice, still unaddressed. Eric Garner, still unaddressed. Michael Brown, still unaddressed. The list goes on and on. So, now we know more to the story, and sadly, it's something that is indicates how corrupt and brutal this all was. But sadly, there may be nothing done about it, and also as far as society is concerned, when you look at it from the society standpoint, it's very sad that absolutely nobody is surprised by this, nor should they be. And had this been released when it should have been in 2015, maybe there would have been a different outcome. I don't know. We can't say for sure there would have been. But I suppose it's possible. Who knows? Maybe police brutality would have been confronted a little bit more. we'll always be left to wonder. But so as of right now, this is circulating. We'll see if there are any, if the investigation is reopened. I would imagine it won't be. I hope I'm wrong. But if I had to take a guess right now as of the recording of this, I'm going to say it's probably not going to be. But I would love to be wrong on that one. Get your news on with Ron. Don't you want to know what's going on? We're getting our news on today. Get your news on with Ron. Don't you want to know what's going on? We're getting our news on today. You can tweet me an article at Ron Placone. We'll go through it together and make it our own. Get your news on with Ron. Don't you want to know what's going on? We're getting